Hi guys, thank you for joining me with Art Sphere today. As you can see, I have a lot of things on my desk today. So we are going to be making a density rainbow in a jar. Using several different ingredients. As you can see, I have different liquids here that all have different densities, and I have some food dye in cups, and we're going to go through that. But density is basically just how much something weighs. Usually it's a liquid. So for this oil here, it has a higher density than the alcohol here because this flows very easily. However, our maple syrup here, as you can see, is very thick. It doesn't flow very easily. It's kind of heavy, so that has the greatest amount of density. It's very compact and it doesn't flow very easily. It's not very viscous. So if something is more viscous, then it flows more smoothly than other things. So you can test the viscosity with the liquids we have. But before we begin, what you're going to need for this is blue dish soap. It needs to be blue because it's going to make the blue layer of our rainbow. You're going to need corn syrup, or I don't have corn syrup at home right now and I couldn't find any, so I'm using maple syrup that I'm going to put food dye in. So either one that you have, corn syrup is better because it's clear and it'll mix the color better, but if you don't have that, it's okay. You need some oil. I'm just using some regular corn oil here. You need some rubbing alcohol, your food dye, of course, that I have, and then you're going to need either a jar or a clear glass or cup that you can see your rainbow in. And then I have a bowl of water, which is one of my other liquids, and then I have another bowl for mixing another color. And then I also have a tablespoon that I'm going to use just to measure and to mix my colors with. So we are going to start out with our most dense liquid, which is our maple syrup or corn syrup. And basically, we want it just to sit at the bottom. I'm going to just pour in because it's our first layer. It's okay if I just pour in, and I'm just going to pour in a layer. Depending on how much, how big your jar is, it depends on how much you want to put in, but you want to make sure that you have the same amount for each layer so they're about even. So I have about 3 tablespoons in here, and I'm just going to make my purple. So now is a good time to practice your color mixing skills. So purple is made from blue and red. And because I'm not using corn syrup, it might not show up as good as it would if I had been using clear corn syrup. So I'm just going to mix that around. Now it's like a very dark purple, which is okay. Let that sit here. Alright, next we have our dish soap. Our dish soap is our second layer. I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of dish soap in here, so I'm just going to use my tablespoon. And I want to be very careful that I'm not disrupting the layers by pouring too heavily or too much, so I'm just going to try to get it as close as I can around the top layer so it's not going to disturb it. Alright, and so I'm just experimenting, but I can see that the layer is very visible right here. You can maybe see it, camera maybe not, but in person you can tell that there's a difference in the layers if you hold it up to the light. They're just both very dark, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but it's okay. So then we are going to do our water, because our water is more dense than our oil, actually. So we have our water, so now we have blue, purple, blue. So now you have to go through the rainbow is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So we have green. So I'm just going to put a drop of green in here and mix that around. And again, I don't want to disturb the layers underneath. So I'm just going to try to pour it as gently as I can on top of the blue dish soap. Alright, so now we have our 3 layers. We go red, orange, yellow, green. So we need to do our orange, and that is going to be our oil. So we're actually going to do our orange and our yellow together. But let's see. I'm going to change the color a little bit. I'm maybe adding just a little bit more yellow to my already yellow oil. But as you can see with oil, food coloring doesn't mix very well with it because it's already so, the food coloring is more dense than the oil. Food coloring is about the same as water, so it doesn't help too much to put oil, to put yellow food dye in it. We're just going, again, I'm being very careful, trying not to let the colors get too mixed up by just dropping it in there. I'm trying to let it slide in. Alright. And I'm checking again, looking at my rainbow. I can clearly see the layers in it, so that is looking good. Lastly, we have our rubbing alcohol. You're going to take another bowl. I'm just going to pour some in depending on how much you're using. You can always add more. And this is going to be our red. I'm going to put some red in here. Alright. Trying to be very careful not to disturb the layer of oil underneath it. Alright, and here I have my rainbow. We have our clear, distinct lines. I have my red, yellow, green, blue, and then purple is really dark, but it's right here. So I hope you guys were able to follow along and to do this, and you guys get a really good looking rainbow in your jar. If you don't have all the ingredients, it's okay. You can always experiment with different viscosities and different densities like I did with my maple syrup. Instead of having corn syrup, you can also maybe try it out with honey. You can try different oils or different kinds of soap, just different liquids you have around the house if you want to experiment with this. And you just add some food dye in it so you can tell the different levels and layers. So this is a really fun experiment to explore density and mixing colors, and hopefully you guys know the colors of a rainbow now. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. There's 7. So if you like this experiment, please hashtag us at LoveArtSphere Inc. or email us at info@artsphere.org. We would love to see your experiments. We would love to share them and just see how you guys are doing. So I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day and just keep exploring.